Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the new session of HIM tutorials. 7th chapter conservation of plants and animals is going on, and the topic biodiversity we are learning. We have learnt up to the threats to biodiversity, and today we are going to learn the subtopic, that is need and conservation of the biodiversity. So without wasting much of your time, let's start with the first topic, that is why there is need of conservation of biodiversity. So need of conservation of biodiversity is very important, because if we take care of nature, then nature will take care of us. We are both interdependent to each other. Okay, so the first need, that why there is conservation of biodiversity is very important. The first need is that the wildlife help in making the balance of nature, means ecological balance. So balance of nature is formed. Second thing is that variety of things we have from the wildlife, which are called as commodities. So variety of things we are having from the wildlife. If I go for the third need is very much important, because wildlife is responsible for the breeding programs. It is responsible for the breeding programs. These breeding programs may be for agriculture, maybe for horticulture, apiculture, sericulture. So in these breeding programs, the reproduction process of the organisms takes place so that they can carry their generation one after the other, which is very, very important. Okay, now I will discuss some terminology with you all as flora. Flora means the plants, or you can say wild plants of a particular area. Fauna. Fauna means wild animals of particular area. Okay, wild plants and wild animals of a particular area, or you can say that plants of a particular area and animals of a particular area. If we talk about some examples, then deodar, oak, pine, these trees are only found in Himalayas, and on the other hand the trees of jamun and sal and arjan, they are found in plains, mainly in Rajasthan. So many species of animals are there which are only found in Himalayas, and those Himalayan species can't be found in plain areas. So that's why, due to the different climatic zones, these flora and fauna are also divided. Okay, now the second terminology is endemic species. Endemic species means any species which is related to a particular area and that can't be found anywhere else in the world. For example, lion, which is babbar sher, that is present in Gir forest of the Gujarat. Himalayan weasel can only be found in Himalayan regions. So any species which is related to a particular area and cannot be found anywhere else, that is called as the endemic species. So on the other terms, if we say local species, local organisms of a particular area, that comprises the endemic species of that area. Next is exotic species. Exotic species means those species which are introduced from outside to a particular area. Okay, which are introduced from outside to a particular area. For example, there is a particular area, and we know that endemic species are the local species which resides only in this area and they are not found anywhere else. Now we are going to introduce some exotic species from some outside species to this particular area. Now what will happen? There will be competition for food, water and other necessary things in both the endemic and exotic species, and sometimes if the exotic species is very strong, then it will be very much difficult for the endemic species to reside in that area of their own. Okay, so endemic and exotic species both are very important. Now we will go for the main topic of today, that is conservation of biodiversity. Conservation of biodiversity is very vast topic, and in conservation of biodiversity we will discuss two main subtopics, which is, first is conservation of forests, and second is conservation of wildlife. Now, why we have to conserve biodiversity, or you can say how we can conserve our biodiversity, we can conserve by these two sub methods. Conservation of forest means we are conserving our forests. What is forest? Forest is that place which is having large number of species of wildlife, and especially there is more number of what? Plants and more number of trees. Okay, so as in forests we know that, or in normally we know that the plants and animals and humans, they all are interdependent to each other. Why? Because carbon dioxide we are releasing, animals are releasing carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is life gas for the plants, and on the other hand plants are releasing oxygen, and that oxygen is life gas for the humans and animals. So we both are what? Interdependent to each other. So that's why these forests are very important, and due to this interdependence the forests are called as lungs of nature. Now, conservation of forest, under the conservation of forest we will discuss two main things. Okay, the first thing we will discuss, that is causes of deforestation. Now, why we have to conserve the forests? We have to conserve the forest because deforestation is very much practiced nowadays. What is deforestation? Deforestation means cutting of the trees, and this cutting of the trees will lead to threat to our environment, sometimes to our lifestyle also. Okay, so what are the causes due to which deforestation take place? So there are two main causes. First is human cause, and second is nature cause or natural causes. If we go for human causes, then humans are using the forests for their own benefit, for making buildings or making roads. Okay, so we are making buildings, roads, increasing agriculture. Okay, because agriculture we have to expand. Why we have to expand agriculture? Because we can easily withstand with the food need of such a large population. So that's why we are clearing forests, so that we can use the land of that forest for the agriculture purpose. Second thing is mining. Mining is that thing because we are doing mining to have natural resources. Okay, so mining is very painful for the forest, because in mining there is very big loss of plants and animals, or you can say flora and fauna takes place. Another thing is fuel. Okay, we are using wood as a fuel, so this is also a cause of deforestation. If I go for the natural causes, then in natural causes there is forest fire, then severe droughts, then landslides, floods, earthquake, and many more are there. So these all are the causes which leads to the deforestation. Okay. Now we will discuss about the consequences of the deforestation. Consequences means the problems. Consequences means the problems of deforestation. If I go for the problems of deforestation, then first and the foremost problem is global warming. Global warming is due to the increase in concentration of carbon dioxide, which also leads to greenhouse effect. Now the second consequence is of desertification. In desertification, what is going on? There is irregular rainfall, or there is climatic change is very much. So due to this, what is happening? The water table is disturbed, and the upper layer of the soil is not having very good, you can say, water holding capacity, because lot many trees are cut off. So if the upper soil is not having good water holding capacity, then the water will seep deeper into the soil, and the upper layer of the soil become dry. And if there is high velocity of wind goes on from that area, then it will lead to soil erosion. It will lead to soil erosion. The next thing is change in climate. Due to the global warming, there is increase in temperature, and due to this increased temperature, there is less rainfall going on. So in some places there is drought, and in some places such a heavy rainfall takes place because there is desertification, that it leads to flooding. Okay. Now next is drought. Again, if the water table is lower down into the subsoil, then it will lead to severe drought in some areas. Next point is soil erosion and floods. If loss of trees will take place from the upper layer, then easily with the heavy wind or heavy rainfall, the uppermost soil will eroded out. And also we have discussed that due to the climate change, there in some places there is flood like conditions takes place. So it is also a very big problem, and it is also a problem due to the deforestation. Okay. Next is loss of wildlife. Loss of wildlife. Due to the deforestation, the natural habitats of many plants and animals are being disturbed. And if their natural habitats are being disturbed, it means many species of plants and animals are also got disturbed in their lifestyle, because food resources are also depleting if the forests are also depleting. So all in all, it is leading to loss of wildlife, or you can say the conditions can be so severe then it will lead to extinction of some of species, or maybe some species be at the urge or a level of extinction. The last one is depletion of resources. We have discussed earlier also that wildlife is a source of variety of commodities to us. So if this wildlife is got altered, then automatically there is depletion of the natural resources takes place, maybe in terms of some things or maybe in terms of some flora fauna. So depletion of resources also take place due to this deforestation. So these all are the things which we have learned today. So now let's recap these all the topics very quickly. We have learned that there is need of conservation of biodiversity because it maintains the balance of nature, wildlife providing variety of things to us. Breeding programs are also executed with the help of the wildlife to us. Then flora includes wild plants and fauna includes wild animals. Endemic species are the local species, exotic species are the outside species in a particular area. Now the conservation of biodiversity we will learn, and it is a vast topic, and it will learn under two main headings, that is conservation of forests and conservation of wildlife. Today we have done only the conservation of forest. In conservation of forest we have done first, that is causes of deforestation. Why there is conservation of forest? Because of the deforestation. We are doing deforestation. So what are the causes of deforestation? Human causes, that the procuring of the land of the you can say forests for the agriculture, for making buildings or making roads, for using fuel. Okay, and what are the natural causes? Forest fires, severe droughts, landslides, floods, earthquake, etc. Now what are the consequences, means what are the problems of deforestation? First problem is of global warming, then desertification is there, change in climate is there, which leads to drought. Due to the drought there is soil erosion and floods, and there is also wildlife loss, because food sources are also very limited due to these deforestation, and ultimately all in all will lead to depletion of resources. Maybe it's living resource, maybe it's non-living resource. So I hope you understood all the things very well. So up to our next video, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.